escuchamos todos los miércoles 6 de la tarde por esta señal y repetición a las 9 de la mañana también por esta misma señal. Nos vemos, Santiago. Hasta la próxima.
Chao, chao.
Advice with Melissa Coleman, CEO of Sage Skincare, delivers weekly advice from the best experts to provide you with insightful suggestions to allow you to thrive with a better quality of life. It's her mission to guide you through the uncharted waters of health and wellness and to give you a voice on what can help improve your life and your mental, physical, and spiritual journey. Okay, audience, here's Melissa.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sage Advice with Melissa. I am your host, Melissa Coleman. You are listening to us here on KWRH 92.9 FM and also on KXOK 102.9 FM. And we hope you're having a great day today. You can also catch us Monday through Fridays from 7 to 8 a.m. and then again at noon to 1 p.m. on My Genre Radio. All you have to do is search your city, search our show, and there we are. And then we are here with you live today on Thursday on both FaceTime and YouTube from 10 to 11. So you have plenty of opportunity to find us. And we are here today with Grace Leon. Welcome back to the show,
It's
Grace.
so good to be back.
I know it's been a minute
I
since
know it
you've been
has.
here. And we also want to let everybody know we are still in our month of spring cleaning. So today we're talking about gut health and how to clean that out and have you feeling really great. So I'm excited to have you back here.
Me too.
When was it the last time you were
I was
with
trying to
us?
think that.
I think you
Almost
were
a year or at least 6 months.
At least.
Yeah.
Yes.
I feel like it
yes.
was last like around summer or a little before that.
I think so.
Yeah.
It's been a busy year for you. So we're going to
Yes.
find out all about that. So let me tell everybody about you because the last time you were here, we were several million less listeners than we are
Oh,
now.
wow.
So
Okay.
we are close to 9 now, weekly
Amazing.
listeners. So that's pretty exciting for
It's
us.
very exciting.
So Grace takes a holistic approach to health and wellness with a bachelor's and master's in exercise science, a certified personal trainer, yoga certified, and breathwork meditation certified. She takes a whole body approach to each of her clients, balancing the mind, body, and soul, which is what we're all about here. She helps to guide people to tune into their own body and learn to move, eat, and live from a place of love and respect for themselves. She understands that everyone is unique and there is no one size fits all approach to wellness. She loves sharing holistic wellness tips, recipes, and more on her Instagram page at mindbody_Grace. Welcome, Grace.
Thank you.
So this is going to be fun for me. I haven't had asked you questions in a long time.
Yeah.
And I was thinking as I was putting this first question together about who you are, but
Mhm.
it's more about, for me, who you are now. So
Mm.
kind of tap on
Okay.
both because like
Okay.
I said, we've got
Yeah.
a lot of new listeners since the last time you were here.
Totally.
So let's share about who Grace is and who Grace is now.
Okay. So yeah, as Melissa said, background in exercise science, personal training, and I started that probably 6 years ago. And then, with that, there's that learning curve. And I started to learn as my clients that everyone's body is a little bit different. And just the working out was not enough for people to see results and not enough for them to kind of get where they wanted to be. And same with for myself. For so long, I just focused on the exercise and the diet, and I still was having a number of health issues.
Mhm.
And that's really when I delved into looking deeper into gut health, into yoga, into stress, into sleep, into hydration, and realized that, yeah, kind of you have to have the whole thing. Everything's interconnected. And so when you're just focusing on one, it really the other ones fall off. And so making sure that each of those areas, you put a little bit of water into each of them, you fill each cup a little bit. So with my clients, I've kind of shifted more from just the personal training to every time we meet with them, we talk about how their sleep's been, how their stress has been, how their water's been. And then with my background, we can luckily adjust from there. So, some days we might do a harder workout. Some days we might do yoga and breath work. Some days we might just talk and kind of figure out some different habits or things of that sort if they're having trouble sleeping or things like that.
Absolutely. And let's touch a little bit, because you shared that you've had your own issues.
Mm-hmm.
I've also shared on the air that I've had my own issues as well. And let's, because I think everybody thinks in terms of exercise and food and all of that, of like being this one size.
Mm-hmm.
And, I'd really like to share that it is really not about the size. It is
No.
about how you feel, because all of us are shaped differently.
Mhm.
Our capacity to have weight is different
Our
from
gut
one another.
microbiome is different.
Exactly. So, I'm really excited about this, because like I shared, I am probably now the heaviest I've ever been in my entire life.
Mhm.
And that's like 45 pounds heavier, which is a lot of weight. That's like,
Mhm.
a reasonably large toddler hanging around your body, but, and even with doing most of the things, because, you do yoga at our office and
Mhm.
weight training and the whole thing. And, I eat reasonably well, probably not enough, but, it's like, how does that all impact us?
Yeah. And I think, unfortunately, not to, our country's amazing, but
Yes.
unfortunately, a lot of our food here and a lot of our resources and our environment in general has a lot more toxins than most other countries. I was
Yes.
watching a documentary, listened to a podcast, and this woman had a number of gut issues, and she moved to Italy for some time, and she was eating pasta and having wine and pizza every day. And she said, I had no issues. I wasn't gaining weight. And she said, came back to America, tried to eat, most of the same diet, and immediately started having all that inflammation. So yes, diet is a huge part of that, but also what toxins are you around? What are you putting into your body? Because all of those are going to have such a huge effect on your gut health and how you're feeling. And on top of that too, in this society, we're in such a go, go, go. We're always kind of, you do one thing, great, go on to the next thing.
Right.
And so taking time to really, sit with yourself and have time to yourself and be aware of what people, things, places may be causing stress in your body, because stress is different for each of us. And stress is not an emotion, but how we perceive stress is different also for everyone. If you've had a past trauma of, I don't know, dogs, and then you see a dog, you're going to have stress in your body because you have that trauma in your body. Whereas me, if I never had any issues with dogs, I see a dog, I'm like, oh, cute, a dog. So like people respond differently to stress, and that has a really big effect on our gut. I was looking up statistics, and people don't realize how much. So if you're constantly in a state of stress, but you're eating really well, you're working out, even getting enough sleep, if you're stressed every day, your gut's going to be like not happy and not like it can't have that taking that on, because it's going to show you
the energy.
Yeah, you'll know. Your body will tell you. Our body's always telling us. So if everything else is perfect, but you have a very high stress job or a high stress home, or something in your life is causing, consistent stress, like over months, over years, it's going to show in your gut in some way, shape, or form, which we'll kind of talk about different ways that it might show up.
Absolutely. So what is gut health?
So when we think about the gut and the gastrointestinal system,
which is very complicated.
Very, very complicated. Yes. So when it starts at the mouth. So even when you see food and you start salivating, that already is starting the process of digestion. So all the way from the mouth to when it enters our body, all the way down, all the way through all the intestines, and all the way out. All of those different organs are part of the gastrointestinal system. So when we're thinking specifically, though, about gut health, most people are referring to the microbiome, which is the ecosystem of microorganisms that live in and around the body. Most of those, majority, like 90%, are inside of our gut, which is why it's such a big deal. And there's over, I think, 1,000 microorganisms in there.
Yeah,
So
there's a lot.
there's a lot in there. There's a
Mhm.
lot of things happening in, this small area of your body, when you think about it. And so
It
we
really
all,
is our control center.
it really, really is,
Yeah.
and we'll get into a little bit of kind of the gut brain axis and the vagus nerve. And lately there's been a lot more up and coming research within the last 10 years, fortunately. But before that, they thought the brain and the gut were totally two separate things. And now they're starting to realize is that this vagus nerve, there's one big nerve that connects directly the gut and the brain. And there's these neurotransmitters that are talking back and forth, back and forth. So if there's a deficiency or a dysbiosis within the gut, the brain is being directly affected from
Mhm.
that. So that's why now people are saying, oh, we might have to actually realize that we need to take care of our gut. We need to be mindful of what our gut's telling us, because
Yes.
even when I was little, my mom would always say, if you have a gut feeling about something or someone, listen to it.
Mhm.
And now looking back, like, yes, your gut really is, the gut feeling is a real thing. It's not just like
Yes.
something that's made up.
Yeah. I love that you mentioned that, because my sister, who also has thyroid disease like myself,
Mhm.
actually both my sisters do, but the one that had Graves' disease, or diagnosed with Graves' disease, has now come to find out, after working with a more holistic,
Mhm.
MD, that there's actually a parasite or some kind of
Oh,
something in
yeah.
her body that it presented when it did as a thyroid issue, but she's having now symptoms again, which are presenting like MS symptoms, but it is
Mhm.
something that is going on in the gut. And so she's addressing it from that
That
standpoint versus that traditional, let's give you a pill, let's give you this,
Mhm.
just to kind of mask the problem. And it's unfortunate because now she's had the radioactive stuff
Yeah.
years ago, like in her early 20s, and killed the thyroid off and probably did not need to. So it is really important,
Mhm.
just for our audience, to
Mhm.
really be mindful of your body and listen. Don't just assume and research for your own self
Uh-huh.
before somebody just wants to put you on something,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
really reach out to a nutritionist,
Yeah.
somebody.
Yes. Really just get,
Yes.
we need Western medicine. It's it's nothing
Absolutely.
against it, but
Absolutely.
there's also a lot of money put into Western medicine and into pharmaceuticals. So just be mindful of that. And
Mhm.
especially with like autoimmune and hormone stuff, a lot of that stems from the gut. Like I had a
Yes.
ton of hormone issues, and I was tried to address those first. And I even went a natural way to address the hormone issues, but it wasn't until I fully addressed the gut issues that then the hormone issues started to get better.
Yes.
So it's
Yes.
like everything is interconnected, everything goes hand in hand. And autoimmune, we already know it's our own immune system that something's going on. And
Yes.
90% of the immune system is inside of your gut.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So if you
Yes.
are suddenly, through life you're healthy, and then suddenly you're diagnosed with autoimmune, I would immediately go to some sort of doctor that's going to look at your gut health and look at all the microorganisms in there and see if you have an imbalance or a dysbiosis or a SIBO, because usually you probably do.
Mhm.
And even Western medicine, there's no cure for autoimmune. Everything is just managing it. But I've
Yes.
seen people who have been diagnosed with autoimmune, and then they take some sort of gut protocol, and they've really focused on healing their gut and managing their stress and managing their lifestyle, and then all of their symptoms go away and they no longer have this autoimmune
Yes.
disorder. So it
'Cause
is reversible.
Absolutely, because when we're managing our gut, we're alleviating the inflammation in the body, which is
Mm,
what breeds disease and
mhm,
sickness. So,
mhm.
just a little word for the wise.
Yes. I feel like autoimmune is just becoming so prevalent in
Yes.
these, and even especially too in children. I feel like I have a lot of clients and their kids are like born immediately with nut and allergies, milk, and gluten, which we know we don't need a ton of those, but as a child, you really shouldn't be, so sick to those that you can't even be around them.
Yes. Yes.
So it's like, what is in our ingredients, or what are we doing as moms when we're pregnant?
That's so
Because,
much of it. Mhm.
as a mother, and then you're having a baby, your gut microbiome is literally part of your child.
Mhm.
So it's such a huge thing. And I know that many mothers are very aware of that. And when you're pregnant, but just being more mindful when you're pregnant of kind of, especially when you are eating meat and dairy, where that's coming from.
Yes.
Because too, also, young girls are, puberty's happening earlier and earlier and earlier, and
yes.
people are maybe connecting that, all of our dairy products are injected with a lot of hormones, and then we're giving our children milk for the first 7 years of their life, and then they're getting their period way earlier than most girls would be getting their period.
Absolutely.
Um,
Absolutely.
so
Because
just
9
being-
years old is too soon.
Yeah, that's way too soon.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Way too soon.
Yes. So you kind of shared a little bit, but what really got you into gut health?
So I experienced my own gut health issues. The biggest thing is when I first got into, again, exercise and eating healthy, I was like, I just want to look a certain way. And I thought if I looked that way, that I would
You'd be great.
I'd be great. I'd be feeling happy. I'd be feeling good. And I did bikini competitions and I got on stage and I looked incredible. I'll tell you, I looked great. And I had lost my period. I had bloating and indigestion and, very high stress because I was working out 2 times a day and eating low calories and eating like the same 10 foods for weeks on weeks. And, I after 3 years of it, it took me a while. I thought I'd magically get better, but after 3 years of it, when I was experiencing, the things just kept getting worse and worse. And I was having to take more of these supplements to help me go to the bathroom. And again, like I said, my period just went away. I was like, man, I don't think that I want to live this way the rest of my life.
Yeah.
I don't want to. And so since then, that was probably 2019 when I really got out of that lifestyle and I really shifted into more of an holistic approach. And it's been a roller coaster and I still am on my gut healing journey. But I would say over the years, if I've gone to acupuncture, I've gone to holistic medicine practitioners, chiropractics, things of that sort, just doing my own research, yoga, breath work, the meditation. It really has got me into like when my gut is at its healthiest, I truly do feel my best.
Mhm.
And I do truly, I am happy with how my body looks and happy with how my body feels and I'm sleeping well. And I don't know, I'm not perfect. No one's perfect, but I know now, I choose to eat and move more from that place of love because I want to feel good versus eating and move because I want to look a certain way. So really shifted. And I try to, when clients come to me and they're just like, I want to lose weight. Usually it's deeper than I want to lose weight. It always is deeper. And so trying to kind of dig that, well, why do you want to lose the weight? What's losing the weight actually going to do for you? And usually it is, I want to feel better. I want to be able to keep up with my kids. I want to have more energy. So there's deeper meaning behind it, but then shifting that sort of mindset to instead of, I just want to lose weight, because just losing weight, you're still going to be, it's not the fix.
Mm-mm.
How do you want to feel? How do you want to go about your day? What energy do you want to have? How do you want to choose your foods and things like that? And that will also help you, because again, losing weight is not super emotional. If I say, oh, I want to lose weight, but then I go out the street and there's a cookie, I'm like, oh, I want to lose weight, but that cookie looks really good. I want to eat it. Whereas I want to feel good. I want to have energy. And then I walk out of here and there's a cookie and I say, you know what, that cookie looks good. But if I eat that cookie, I'm probably not going to feel 100% and not going to be able to give my best. And in some days, having the cookie is okay. But most days, 8 out of 10 days, I'm probably going to pass on the cookie because I know that that sugar is just going to give me quick energy and then I'm going to crash and then I'm going to have inflammation in my body. So starting to really shift that mindset, I've noticed with myself and with my clients, has been a bigger factor, and they've been able to really shift what they do outside. Because if they come work out with me for an hour, but then they go and they leave and they're, going through the fast food drive, that's not going to be beneficial for either of us. So helping them sort of learn where are their triggers coming from and where is that deeper desire of wanting to live a happier, healthier life.
Yes. And I love what you say about the eating piece because it's so important. My mom had a couple of friends at one point that were going out and walking all the time,
Mm-hmm.
but then they go and eat lunch afterwards. And just knowing those humans, it was probably not the healthiest lunches, but they felt like I'm walking, I'm doing something.
Yes.
So that it like negates what we're taking in.
Mhm.
And we should eat those things that might not always be good for
Yeah,
us
we need balance.
occasionally. 'Cause,
Occasionally.
you know, we have the holidays, we have all
Mhm.
those things. And once in a while, you just want to enjoy what you
Exactly.
want to enjoy.
And you should. And
Yes.
I think too, looking back, like in the subconscious, a lot I myself as a child and many people I know, even growing up, and our parents didn't know any better, but they were always like, oh, you had a bad day, let's get some ice cream. Or, oh,
Yes.
you got an A on your test, let's get some ice cream. So subconsciously, when we're young, ages 1 to 7, when our subconscious is booming
Yes.
and our parents teach us that flows into the rest of our life, unfortunately. So as parents, again, when your child is very young and good or bad things happening, learning to teach them different ways to soothe and different ways to celebrate. Food is great. We need food to
Mhm.
survive, but it should not be a reward, or it should not be used to soothe every single time something good or bad happens, especially in our
Absolutely.
children, because we do that. Gets ingrained even in the movies. When people have good breakups, they're always sitting on the couch eating ice cream. Like it's how it
It's
is.
the
And it,
go-to.
and it's not like, I'm not saying don't ever eat ice cream if you go through a breakup, but have that and then find your other ways to self-soothe, move your body, go to a yoga class, find a new hobby, something of that sort, and really let food be what it is, which is medicine, and which
Yes.
is energy for us to do the things that we love.
Yes. I have to say, I'm very thankful being diabetic at 4. I did not have those self-soothing options.
You
So,
did? I didn't know you were at 4.
At 4.
I
Yeah.
did not know that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
I
so
think
you
it's been a saving grace for me, because I would say of my siblings,
Mhm.
I am the one that has the propensity to
Mhm.
put on weight.
Mhm.
So it has definitely helped me to be mindful of
Mhm.
what I'm eating, as well as I developed really bad food allergies in my late 20s. So I think the combination of both have been very
Yeah.
good for
What
me.
are your food allergies?
Oh, everything. So
I didn't know
all
that.
the inflammatory things.
Oh,
We
well.
eat dairy, eggs, chicken.
Okay, because you're pretty plant-based. You're mostly
Mostly. I
plant-based.
do a little meat here and there.
Okay.
Just because I do miss it.
Yeah. And there's a ton of
and
iron in it.
it-
And there
it-
are good nutrients in organic
yes,
grass-fed meat.
And we get grass fed
Yeah,
from
yeah.
my friend's farm.
Amazing.
I would encourage everybody find a
Yes.
farmer that feeds their cattle well.
If you're going to
and,
spend money on any sort of organic or thing, I would say let it be your meat products.
and it's a whole lot less than what you would spend going to the store
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Just
per pound.
And there's a lot in Missouri. I actually
Mhm.
just had a friend, and she joined like a commune, and she goes gets her
Yes.
eggs and her raw milk and her meat. And I was like, and there's a really long wait list, but I would say if you can research wherever you are and try to find that,
Yes.
do it. That's one switch you can make.
Yeah.
Do it.
Absolutely. And I think, it makes a difference too, because, I make bread for my spiritual group. And I have
Mhm.
to say, when I make bread from scratch versus eating bread out of the bag, I have far less problems. I don't do a
Mhm.
lot of it just because
Yeah. Yes.
wheat and gluten, not my friend. But there is something to be said about cooking from scratch.
Oh, I mean,
For
I've
sure.
been on my sourdough journey.
Yes, which is delightful.
And,
that sourdough is
thank you. But yeah, there's 4 ingredients that go into the sourdough, and it's just like same thing. Like we've been eating it, and I don't, again, in moderation, like everything, but I can have a nice slice of sourdough and I don't have any of the same symptoms that I would have if I ate bread.
And what is different with the sourdough? Because I know sourdough is better on digestion. It's
Mhm.
better for us
Mhm.
overall than doing just a standard bread.
Because sourdough is made with the starter, which is like a live bacteria.
The yeast.
That is like in our gut. So when that's like fermented, so when that is mixed with the flour that you use, that helps to decrease the gluten content. So there's far less gluten. And then when it goes into the stomach and it's starting to digest, because that bacteria is already in the dough and it's fermented again, it's easier on your body to digest. So there's a lot of people who have like a gluten intolerance, and they have sourdough and they have far less issues with it. Celiac still can't eat it because there still is gluten in it if you're if you're actually celiac.
Yeah.
But if you just are are gluten intolerant, which is pretty much almost everyone with our gluten in
Oh, yes,
America.
'cause it's like so
It's so
into everything.
processed.
It's like
Yeah.
overly processed
Mhm.
and in everything.
Yeah.
Like there's wheat and gluten in everything.
And so, and two, like if you're making bread, which it's a very simple thing to do, I highly recommend, even if you don't do sourdough, just a bread, because you can control the flour that's going in there. So you can go and get a nice organic flour that's not sprayed with pesticides and bleached and all that stuff. And so that will even be better on your stomach. And if you know someone that has a sourdough starter, I highly recommend getting a little bit of that and starting your sourdough journey. Again, I thought it would be so hard, and it's one of the easiest things that I've ever
we all
done.
want to know
Yeah.
at the office.
We'll have to do like a sourdough class.
Yes. We'll take a sourdough class.
Cool.
I just want to remind everybody, if you're just now joining us, you're listening to Sage Advice with Melissa. We are here today with Grace Leon, and we are talking about gut health. So, what does having a healthy gut mean for all of us?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a huge question.
Huge thing. So
Yes.
first thing, it might be a little awkward. Some people don't want to hear about it, but we got to talk about the stool.
The
and
poops.
The poops. We got to talk about it. Some people get really awkward. Like I'll ask my clients, I'm like, so what's your poop schedule like? And they're like, some of them are open about it. Some of them are not. But you really should be going 1 to 2 times a day.
At minimum.
Yes.
Minimum.
Because what is happening is you really want to have a 24-hour between when you eat something and when it leaves your body. So what's happening during that process, again, it's moving through all the colon in the large intestine, the small intestine, and the nutrients that we need should be being taken out, sent to where they need to go. And then everything else is just getting moved through. So if you're not having a full bowel movement at least 1 to 3 times a day, that's one sign immediately. And some people are, they're just like, oh, well, that's just how I am. And it's like, no, it's not. If you're going only 2 times a week or something, like there's definitely something going on inside of the gut. Consistent energy throughout the day, a normal amount of gas and bloating. So gas is totally normal. A little bit of bloating after a meal is normal. So when I say normal, if you're eating a whole meal or you're waking up and your belly is really distended and you can feel it, it feels like there's a balloon in your belly or just gas in your belly.
Mm-hmm.
That would be a sign of an unhealthy gut. But a little bit, we eat fiber, we eat beans, we eat something like that. There's a little bit of gas.
Yes.
That's totally normal. A little bit of bloating after a meal. I would say though, if you are waking up bloated, that would be, I would say, a big sign of a gut disturbance.
For
because
sure.
you shouldn't be waking up and having extreme bloating, which that was one of my biggest first signs. I would wake up in the morning. Yeah. And I would I would not have anything and I'd be so bloated and uncomfortable. I'm like, this isn't good.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Mental clarity is another one. Healthy reactions to food and to stress. So that's really just having overall health. But if those things are kind of out of whack or they feel off consistently, every now and again, things happen. If you travel, you might not be super regular.
Right.
If you don't drink enough water, you might have a ton of energy or sleep a little bad. But if you're consistently needing a nap in the middle of the day, like every single day, I would say that's a big sign that something's happening in your gut.
Yes.
Or the bloating or things like that.
Yes. Well, believe it or not, we have just finished up our first half of the show. So tell everybody one more time before we head to commercial break how to reach you.
Yes.
And then we'll be back with Grace on more about gut health.
Best way to reach me is via Instagram, mindbody_Grace. And you can just message me. That's the easiest way for now.
Awesome. Yeah. All right. We'll be back in a few.
If you're looking for a new informative health and lifestyle show to gain knowledge and inspiration to help guide your journey to think, work, and live more powerfully, then you need to listen to Sage Advice with Melissa. Now, whether you're trying to improve your life from a mental, physical, or spiritual journey, Sage Advice with Melissa Coleman, CEO of Sage Skincare, delivers weekly advice from industry experts to provide you with insightful suggestions to allow you to thrive with a better quality of life. Melissa's mission? To guide you through the uncharted waters of health and wellness and to give you a voice to help improve your life. So be sure to tune in to Melissa on KWRH 92.9 FM every Thursday at 10 a.m. You'll be glad you did.
Hey, listeners, saying thanks to your customers is nice and polite, but expressing your gratitude in memorable and ongoing ways can boost your business. At Promo Experts LLC, we exceed our customers' expectations. For over 20 years, our product knowledge and experience has helped them with their marketing initiatives and trade show graphics. We are happy to put that experience to work for you. Quality products, great customer service, and prices are our number one priority. We work with you to find unique, creative, and new ideas that fit your image and expectations, helping you build strong relationships with your customers. When you select Promo Experts as your marketing partner, we help you to see more than the big picture. For more information about this exciting opportunity, contact Diane Carson, President, at 636-458-5241. That's 636-458-5241. Let Promo Experts help you to move your business brand beyond the bland.
Do you want to become a radio show host, or do you want to create a radio show? Well, Dr. Stan Fine can help you to have your own radio show and put you on 100 cities daily across the U.S. And you can immediately start recording from a live radio studio. As a radio industry veteran, Dr. Stan Fine has 12 years of experience and has produced and hosted over 1,000 radio shows with over 10 million listeners. Dr. Stan Fine knows how to make this happen for you. He's a pro, and he can turn your dreams into a reality. Dr. Stan Fine will help you with everything from learning how to promote your show, develop a host persona, interview techniques, market your show on social media, teach you how to get guests and sponsors, and more. Dr. Stan Fine can put you on the air nationwide daily to 100 cities. If you're interested in making your dream come true, if you want to see how it all works, then give Dr. Stan Fine a call at 314-710-8413. That's 314-710-8413. You've got nothing to lose, and Dr. Stan Fine can help make your nationwide radio dreams come true.
Is your business struggling with getting found online? Are you having a hard time finding a marketing company that you can trust? Look no further than Vivial. At Vivial, we are experts at helping connect buyers to consumers by our innovative marketing strategies with proven methods that help businesses connect to their target demographic. For a free consultation, call Anthony today at 314-437-1906. That's 314-437-1906.
Have you always wanted to write your own book but don't know where to start? Publishing Concepts, a publishing company located right here in St. Louis, offers everything from consulting, book printing, copyrights, ISBNs and barcodes, print book layout, ebook and iBook layout, graphic design, cover design, ghostwriting, typing and editing, distribution, marketing, and more for an affordable price. Visit PublishingConceptsLLC.com or just Google Publishing Concepts to get started today, or call 314-781-8880. That's 314-781-8880. Publishing Concepts. We help you sell more books.
Many small businesses do not have a marketing manager. In many cases, it is the company owner that drives marketing and sales efforts with the gut instinct to survive. Even when small businesses do have a marketing manager, though, many of them are trying to navigate through the complex sales and marketing landscape with little to no success or budget.
How to Promote Your Business with Limited Money is a general purpose how-to business book written for business owners and marketing professionals by business owners Dr. Stan Fine and Joseph W. Clote. This guide is not intended to be read as a front-to-back chapter book and rather serves as a quick reference guide. Refer to this book as you need specific information and skip around as needed.
Promoting your business with limited money is one challenging feat, but there are unlimited ideas you can apply to achieve objectives you pre-establish. So put on your marketing hat and let's take action to start showing your prospects the value your business delivers.
A little you need to know about Dr. Stan Fine. During his 60-year career, Dr. Fine has become an authority on sales and marketing business development issues. His presentations have made him much in demand as a speaker and seminar leader. He has taught business development topics at numerous universities across the United States and has conducted over 500 sales and management seminars. Some of Dr. Fine's credentials in corporate America are currently Dr. Fine serves as a co-host of the Your Business radio show on KRH 92.9 FM in St. Louis and a co-host of Nationwide Daily Radio Show on my Genre Radio Network on the Zeno Media platform. In 100 cities, he's also on a daily TV show on the Valuable TV and the Real TV networks. Go and get a copy of How to Promote Your Business with Limited Money today.
To purchase your copy of How to Promote Your Business with Limited Money, go to It's Your Business website at www.itsyourbusinessradio.com.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to part 2 of Sage Advice with Melissa. I am your host, Melissa Coleman. We are here today with Grace Leon talking about gut health. You are watching us live on Thursdays on YouTube and Facebook Live at Rock Webster Radio. And then you can catch us on Saturdays at noon to 1 on KXOK 102.9 FM and also on KWRH 92.9 FM. And then we're with you Monday through Friday, 7 to 8 a.m. And then again, noon to 1 p.m. on My Genre Radio. All you have to do is search your city and then find our show, and we are with you. So, Miss Grace, we left the show talking about the benefits of having a healthy gut. So we are going to now switch a little bit and talk about what are some of the signs and symptoms of an unhealthy gut that so many of us ignore. Really, we just think it's stress or this or that, and
Again,
just keep it moving.
yeah, talking about the bowels, the poops, constipation, or diarrhea, or if you have a mixture of both, that is a sign that something isn't going properly in the gut. Again, when I'm saying constipation, if you're not going 1 to 2 times a day, 1 to 3 times a day on a consistent basis, that would be a sign. Or if you kind of fluctuate back and forth. So that usually is a sign that something is happening. I would go get a gut test done.
Yeah.
If you're having constant bloating, if you have a new food sensitivity, so if you've been able to tolerate something for a long time and then all of a sudden you can't tolerate it anymore, I would say that would be a sign that some sort of your microbiome is having off because it's not able to digest that anymore. Skin irritation, so if you're getting a lot of rashes or a lot of fungal infections, or even a lot of acne, I would say, our skin is such a huge organ. Right?
It is our largest
organ.
And it is a representation, if you're having skin issues, of what is going on inside. I mean, there's just no doubt.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to get really bad, like the big acne around my chin. And I was always just like, oh, it's just hormonal. And then I healed my gut, and it's rare that I get any of those like really bad pimples anymore. Mood changes, like just a lot of fluctuating mood. Again, like you touched on earlier, that the vagus nerve, that gut-brain axis, direct connection from the gut to the brain. So if there's an imbalance in the gut and you're just having all of these mood changes, or even showing research with like depression and anxiety, that if people are having signs and symptoms of those and they're even just put on, they start to heal their gut and they're put on a probiotic and balance it, they're having a better, life. They're feeling better. Migraines, if you get constant migraines, really, really big. Again, that gut-brain axis, that direct thing. So if you're getting a migraine, it's not normal. If it's consistent, if you're getting a migraine once a month, I would say not normal.
Right.
I have a friend who gets them once a week, and I'm like, girl, you need to go get your hormones checked, your gut checked, ongoing hormone imbalance. So as a female, if you have super irregular periods, if you have a lot of like PMS symptoms, like really, really bad PMS symptoms, usually that's inflammation in the gut, and that's causing that with your period. And then finally, a poor immune system. So 90% of our immune system found in our gut. If you are constantly getting sick, constantly getting cold, constantly having a ton of allergies to things, you're probably having an imbalance in the gut microbiome.
Absolutely. And we apologize for the extra noise, but there is construction going on around the building we're in today. So you have to bear with us today.
Mhm.
So let's talk about detoxification, because this is like huge.
Yeah.
And you can really do a lot of this via the foods you take in
Mhm.
and the amount of veggies and fruits and all of those things that are really good for
Yeah.
detoxifying us.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of good teas that do that
There
as well.
are, yes. So I pulled up the definition, the science definition, detoxification as the process of removing a poison or a toxin or the effect of either from an area or an individual. So when most people first think about detox, they're like, oh, a juice cleanse, or oh, like a colon cleanse or colon hydrotherapy or something like that. And those can be okay. There's not a ton of research on them. Your body is naturally going to detox for you. That's why we have a liver. That's why we have a kidney. That's why our large and small intestine are so important, because they naturally, when they're healthy, they pull those toxins out and they rid them through the stool and through the urine and through sweat and through breathing, our lungs. So if you're constantly like, oh, I need to do this, new detox that someone put out, like, no. I think that the best detox that you can do is eat a whole foods, organic, plant-based diet. And then, like we talked about earlier, manage your stress, get enough water, get enough sleep, just eat, clean up your diet a little bit, move your body, sweat, maybe go and have a sauna session or a cold plunge, something like that. That's going to be a better detox for you. Maybe get off social media for a week. Let's go deeper into
detox.
into some of those detox. Maybe don't watch Netflix for a week, because that also too, don't watch the news for a week. Those things, everything that you're taking in from your environment is going to have effect on your gut.
Yes. And your mind, because again, it's like it's the whole body, and those points are like really important. I mean, like for me, like even when I got onto the spiritual path, like even to watch anything horrible, could not do. Yeah.
Yes.
I don't even watch the news anymore. I
no.
get the pop-ups, on my phone and whatever, but most of those I just kind of pass through, because it really is about keeping your world as calm and peaceful as possible, and making your space safe. And even on your Facebook and social pages, you can choose what flies through your whatever you call them.
Yes. If you are
Your
following,
stories.
if you're following someone and you watch their story and it makes you feel like icky or uncomfortable, unfollow them. You don't, and people are always like, oh, like what kind of shows do you like to watch? And I'm like, I like to watch funny shows.
Exactly.
Things that make me laugh, things that make me feel good. Ted Lasso,
Nice
things of
and
that.
warm inside.
And I have friends who enjoy watching like horror movies and really action-packed, gory. And I'm like, when I watch those, my stomach hurt. Like I feel sick because I just don't. And people are like, it's just a movie. But the way that it makes me feel is not, I don't like to feel those way. And it doesn't like, for some people, everyone's a little bit different. For some people, they can watch it and they're fine. But for myself, I want to laugh. I want to leave a movie theater. Like, my stomach hurts from laughing so much.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I won't watch anything hardcore before bed even.
No, especially before bed.
No.
TV before bed is really affecting your sleep.
Exactly.
And if you're over here like, I have to watch TV to go to bed, I'm going to challenge you to, if that's a habit you have, I'm going to challenge you to try, start small. Maybe one night a week this week, you read instead of watch TV, or meditate, or try something different, because especially if you're falling asleep with the TV on, even when you're sleeping, your subconscious is still working. And so whatever's on the TV is going into your subconscious. And if it's on and the blue light is coming out of the TV, it's still affecting your circadian rhythm, and your deep and your light sleep. We both have Oura rings, but that was one thing I immediately noticed when I got my Oura ring, is that I was watching TV and then I would go to bed, and my deep sleep was really bad. And so I was like, looked into getting blue light blockers, and I was like, stop watch TV. I started reading. immediate change. My Aura Ring, the deep sleep went up immediately. So like that has been like, and before I was like, oh, I think my sleep is fine. I think it's fine. But no, I immediately noticed that I would wake up feeling like more energized and wake up naturally without an alarm clock. And I was like, okay, this really does have an effect on my sleep, even if you don't immediately think that you're feeling it. TV before bed, I would say X-nay it if you can.
Yes. And truly, if you want to get more details on your sleep and what you're doing in the day, the Aura Rings are great. We're not promoting Aura.
Yeah, we're not affiliated with them, but
it is a great thing. Like, it has made me so mindful of my sleeping, because I wouldn't say I'm a terrible sleeper, but I don't sleep a lot. But I've gotten very good, even in the nights I don't sleep a lot, of being mindful when I go to bed, because even like my deep sleep and my REM is always like in the blue.
Nice.
Most of the time.
Yeah.
But it does make a huge difference getting more sleep.
And as a female, I will say, someone who is still menstruating, I love to work out. I love to do a hard workout, but I know now, because the Aura Ring helps to track your cycle, the week before, my readiness score is just a little bit lower. So I listen to that and I take it slower that week. I do some yoga, I do some Pilates. I don't, feel like I need to go as hard. And it really does help with my overall wellness and keeping my hormones more balanced than thinking, especially I know there's a lot of workout junkies probably on here. And so if you love to work out and you're a female and you're working on balancing hormones and gut health, just be aware of the workouts you're doing during each phase of your period. And the Aura Ring's a great way to track that.
Absolutely. So how does a healthy gut help with detoxification?
So we did touch on this, but again, having a healthy gut, the microbiome knows, even when you're looking at a piece of food, it's already starting that digestion process. So having a healthy gut and a healthy mindset with your gut, if you eat something and the gut is imbalanced, it's not going to be able to properly dissect the toxins, the good bacteria, the bad bacteria. If there's imbalance of bacteria, you're not going to be able to absorb all the nutrients that your body needs from that food and then properly rid the toxins. So that's why it's just really important. When my gut was super imbalanced, I was eating really well, but I still had a ton of fatigue, a lot of constipation, things like that. And once I balanced it, huge difference in that, I was eating a lot of the same foods.
Right.
So if you have any of those symptoms like we talked about earlier, and you're just continually feeling like you have to do like a juice cleanse or a juice detox, I would say it's probably deeper and you need to get to the root, because there's a lot of things out there that kind of just blanket over getting to the root of it. And they're like, oh, just do a 3-day juice cleanse or just this. But if you're dealing with these symptoms over and over, it's going to be a process. But I would say go, like, the biggest thing and the thing that helped me the most was going to a naturopath, having a full stool panel done, and actually realizing, okay, this is what you have. You have SIBO, you have small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. Here is what we do. I had to take some supplements to help treat it. It cost, it wasn't cheap, but now I'm, not having to every week have a laxative, or every week, have to cancel clients because I feel really bad, or have to, sleep in or something like that, or just cancel plans with my friends because I'm not feeling well and I don't want to go out to eat. So if you've had these issues for, I would say, more than 6 months, I would say it would be time to, call a naturopath, get someone who can get you like a stool sample, or just go to them and they will usually guide you in the right place.
And I just want to address that a little bit, because it is upfront a little more costly to work with somebody that is a naturopath or, a functional med doc, because most of them don't take insurance. But I want people to think in these terms. If you spend a little more upfront, you're going to spend a whole lot less on the back end, because medicines, and if you end up in the hospital and all of that becomes far more costly than maybe a $600 visit up front to really find out what is going on. And again, this is not about discounting Western medicine, because it does serve an absolute purpose. But there are so many things that can be addressed far better than just getting that Band-Aid
Yes. And if you
to mask
feel like
the problem.
my doctor's great, but I did go to her and I was having these symptoms. I was telling her I was bloated all the time and I was, my bowel movements weren't normal and just stuff like that and having a lot of indigestion. And, she said, well, are you drinking enough water? And, and I was like, if you only knew. And she said, how about we just start mixing taking Miralax every day? And in the back of my head, I'm just like, that I shouldn't have to take Miralax every day.
No.
My body should be able to, and I was eating a good diet. I was eating, fiber and stuff like that. And so then, and sometimes that can make you feel like, well, is it just me? Is it just my head? Am I fine? Is it all in my head? And then I went to naturopath and it was really bad when she did that. And so it didn't if you feel like you're going crazy because you're having all these symptoms and your doctor's telling you it's fine, just move more and drink some water and eat some fiber, like that, if it's too far gone and the bacteria in your gut are truly imbalanced and you have a dysbiosis, you have to get to the root cause of that and heal the gut from the inside out.
Yes.
Because even some healthy foods could be causing more harm right now than good, which is what happened to me. And then I went through the diet protocol that my naturopath gave me, and it was a process, but now I can eat almost any food without having that previous discomfort that I had in the past.
Yes. No, it's important, and be proactive for yourself.
Yes.
I would say, I had my endocrinologist who at that time treated both my diabetes and my thyroid disease, and my thyroid, although in normal range, I was very symptomatic.
Yeah.
And he's like, this is what it is at a woman of your age. And I'm like, what does that mean? And I'm like, this does not work for me.
No.
I'm like, you just can't settle for those pat answers from anybody.
Don't
because your body is designed. It is a fully functioning, amazing machine. And if it's greased and lubed properly, it will function well for you.
So, and not to blame any of those physicians. They're not taught any of that in school.
No.
They're not taught to take that approach or look deeper into that. So it's not their fault. It's just how the pharmaceutical industry works and how things have happened.
And little boxes they live in. I mean, really.
So more people, though, definitely are beginning to really get outside of that box and learning that you are really in charge of your body and you can truly tune in and listen, and don't take no for an answer if you are having symptoms that you don't want to have.
Absolutely. So let's go into what are some misconceptions about detoxing, because this is huge too.
Yes, just doing a detox is, because I feel like immediately when I think of detox, I think of a juice cleanse, which I don't want to harp on a juice cleanse. It's not like the worst thing.
And it depends on the type of cleanse.
And it depends on the type of juice that you're drinking. If you have a fresh juicer and you're doing mostly vegetable juices, I think that it can be beneficial for a day or two if you're having some of those symptoms. But if you're just going to a store and you're buying some juice out of the refrigerator, there's usually loads of sugar in it, and usually they're not going to tell you the exact ingredient. So it's like 25 apples and then like one piece of kale. Whereas you would want to have more a celery, like I love a celery juice. A celery juice is really great for the gut and really great to help with motility. So if you are on the more, it's harder for you to go. If I'm having that, if maybe I, have a trip and on that trip, I just am off, I don't drink enough water, I might come back the next day and, for that week, I'll start my whole day with celery juice or something like that. I get too hungry. Like it's really hard for me to do juice cleanse, and I'm way too active with my clients and teaching. So I don't really do them. If you live a slower paced life and you're not as busy and you maybe work from home, you sit, I could say it happens from there, but you can't do a juice cleanse, or you can't go to the store and now there's all these pills. Oh, colon cleanse, eat these pills. And no, that's not, if you do that colon cleanse and the next day you go out to eat, you have just like your colon is not cleansed. Right. You basically took a laxative and cleared everything out, but the bacteria is still in there, and it's still if you have a dysbiosis, it's not cured. Yes. So like a true cleanse would probably take you like 1 to 2 months, and it's truly eating no alcohol, no caffeine, no sugar, no gluten, no
Oh,
dairy.
the inflammatory
all the
foods,
inflammatory
ladies and
foods.
gentlemen.
And like
Yes.
I would even like the Whole30, I would say it's aggressive, but if you do it and then you slowly add these foods back in, you might I realize on the Whole30, I love beans, but I cannot have beans in large amounts because I don't feel good. I feel bogged down. But I can have a little bit of bean here and there, but I wouldn't have known that unless I did that Whole30. I ate away for 30 days and then I slowly added foods back in. So
Mhm.
skip the colon cleanses, even the research done on like colon hydrotherapy. The issue that I have with that personally is that we do have all that bacteria in the gut. And unfortunately, when you do that, it takes both the good and the bad bacteria out. So it's like a little bit wishy-washy, and I've worked so hard to balance the bacteria in my gut. I
Mhm.
wouldn't want to risk taking all of it out and then being like,
Yeah.
I don't know, like, kind of restarting. So that's my, your body is going to naturally detox. You can aid in the detox by having things like dandelion tea and ginger tea and green tea, apple cider vinegar,
Mhm.
eating whole foods, avoiding caffeine, avoiding alcohol. Antibiotics is a really big thing that affects the gut, unfortunately. So
Yes.
I have a poor client and she keeps getting continuing UTIs and she keeps taking these rounds of antibiotics and and especially if you were a child, if you have gut issues now and you were a child and you had a lot of strep throat as a child or a lot of things you had to take antibiotics for, that affected your gut as a child. And if you are having gut issues now, that could be the reason why.
And I just want to let everybody know, because I had those issues as a little person. Like
Mhm.
I was sick, I think, from the time that I arrived with
Mhm.
allergies and, flus and this and that. And I can tell you that you can absolutely improve things for yourself. And as far as UTIs, that is bacterial. So she's got to
Yes.
get the bacteria out.
Out.
And there's stuff you can take to help with that, because
Okay.
I don't have any more UTIs. And
Good.
there's a couple
And there's a thing to
protocols
talk-
that Dr.
okay.
Charlotte.
I'll have to go talk to
Y-
her.
yeah,
Because
because
it's
that's
not normal. You shouldn't be
Mm-mm.
getting those. If you're
No.
getting continual infections,
and a cranberry pill would be really good too.
okay. Yeah. If
Yeah.
you're getting the continual infections, I would say that would be a sign that something's
Mhm.
happening in your gut.
Absolutely.
And if you can avoid, again, if you really need an antibiotic, by all means, take an antibiotic. But if you can't avoid it, I would avoid it. Because again, unfortunately, those antibiotics kill both the good and the bad bacteria. So if you are taking an antibiotic, I recommend getting a really strong probiotic to take with it. That's
Absolutely.
going to help sort of replenish some of those bacteria that are killed off when you're taking the antibiotic.
Yes. Well, Miss Grace, believe it or not, we're
Flew
to the
by.
end of the show. I know it's so sad, but tell everybody again how to reach you
Yes.
and follow you, because you're going to be leaving soon too.
Yes.
So
Instagram, mindbody_grace. That's the easiest way. Website also www.mindbodyandgracecoaching.com.
yes. And if you want to hear more or different subjects, we want to hear from you as well at Sage Advice with Melissa. So message us on Facebook and Instagram. Maddie is waiting to hear all your suggestions.
Yes.
So we need to plug that in. I want to thank you again for
Thank
joining
you.
us.
I'll leave
This
you
was
with a
amazing.
quote.
Yes, leave me with the quote.
Hippocrates said, "All disease begins in the gut."
Absolutely.
2,500 years ago.
Absolutely.
He was onto it. So just relish in that today.
That's amazing to say that, because
Thank you
it is
so much.
absolutely true. And we will have to have you back after your adventures in Bali.
Yeah, I
So
would
that's
love
going to be
to.
amazing.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. What funness are you going to learn there?
I'm learning yoga, 300-hour teacher training.
Amazing.
I can't wait.
We'll
I'm
bring
looking
you
forward
back
to
and
it.
we're going to talk
Oh
about
yeah.
yoga.
Oh yeah. For
All right.
sure.
Yes. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. As we like to leave you with, health is a state of mind. Wellness is a state of being. Be good, everyone. And we'll see you next week.
And a work personnel file can be important to review, but some Washingtonians are finding them hard to obtain. More on that now from Eric Tegethoff.
The legislation would require businesses to release workers' personnel files within 14 days or pay statutory damages to the worker. These files can contain key information on an employee's termination, for workers' compensation cases, or unemployment benefits. Democratic Representative Julia Reed of Seattle says some companies withhold files for long periods of time or hand them over heavily redacted.
If you're trying to get unemployment, you don't have a month to wait for your employer to say that they found your file. So I think it's reasonable to ask employers to find things within 2 weeks.
Opponents of the bill say it will be hard for businesses to accommodate these requests in the bill's 14-day time period, especially for small businesses.
Finally, Eric Lattis tells us as wildfire seasons in Colorado and across the American West become longer, less predictable, and increasingly destructive, a new report aims to provide an equitable roadmap for protecting communities, watersheds, and wildlife.
Rob Addington with the Nature Conservancy in Colorado says engagement with tribal nations who've been successful stewards of lands for thousands of years will be critical to address the scale of the challenge.
Developing tribal partnerships and really looking to tribal knowledge, ecological knowledge that many of the tribes hold from their centuries, in many cases, of working with the land, working with fire.
Addington says the road